This is Change Your Mindset Podcast, the podcast that helps change your life by helping change the mindset of the 99% into the 1% mindset. Here's your host, Adrian Gomez.
Welcome back to another podcast episode of Change Your Mindset. As always, I'm your host, Adrian Gomez. Want to apologize again because still recovering, so my voice isn't all there. But we're still going to get through this podcast. So I always talk about from the poor and the rich. The only thing that separates them is their mindset. Anybody can be successful. Anybody can be rich. But it's the way you live your life and the way you think is that what separates you. Anyone can be successful. There's no doubt in my mind. You just have to stop doing what everybody else is doing. And he came up with 15 reasons that stops people from being successful. And I see a lot of these traits with a lot of people. And most of these are very common. Some of them you might have yourself. You just have to overcome them. So the first one is a lack of clear goals. Obviously, you need a goal. Whatever it is, it has to be well defined. Most people lack a sense of purpose and direction. You need to have clear goals and provide yourself with a roadmap for success. You need to focus on your efforts and you need to measure your progress as you go. I'll give you an example. Let's say a person with a vague goal like, I want to be successful. That's very vague and very common. That person is going to struggle to identify specific steps to achieve success. Instead of someone with a clear goal, such as, I want to start my own business within the next 2 years. You can create a detailed plan and take actionable steps. You see the difference between I want to be successful and I want to start my own business within the next 2 years. The first person has no idea how to get there or what they're doing or what kind of success or goals they have. The second person is going to write down what they need to do within those 2 years and take action with each step to achieve their goals within those 2 years of starting their business. And that's the difference. Number 2, a very common one, procrastination. A lot of people struggle with this. I struggle with this, especially in high school. It was the worst. And so a lot of people do doing projects, homework. Everyone procrastinates. It's hard getting ahead. But when you procrastinate, it's the act of delaying that task. There could be multiple reasons for procrastination. You can have a lack of motivation or just a fear of failure. The majority of the time, people are just lazy. Let's just be honest. This can hinder people's success by preventing people from taking timely actions. For instance, let's just say someone procrastinating on a work project. They may miss a deadline and compromise the quality of the work, impacting their career advancement. Usually when people do things at the last minute when they procrastinate, they do a sloppy job. It's not as good as a job it could have been if they started earlier. And sometimes when you start earlier, you can get it done and you won't have to deal with it anymore. And you can move on to something else. But people like to procrastinate and do things at the last minute. Number 3, fear of failure. The fear of failure usually paralyzes individuals. It can prevent any person from taking risks and pursuing opportunities because they are scared. Usually fear may stem from a concern about judgment or a negative consequence. And I'll give you an example. Someone avoiding starting a business due to the fear of it not succeeding, even though entrepreneurship may be their passion. And I can relate to this because fear is scary. You don't know if you'll be successful or not, but that's the risk that comes along with it. How will you know? Let's say if fear stops you from doing it, you're never going to know if you were successful or not. But the harder you work, the less chances of failure happen. And the odds of you succeeding are more than likely. But if you don't work hard and you give up easily, failure is for sure to rise. Number 4, the lack of discipline. I said this before, being successful is boring. It's just doing the same thing over and over, which is discipline. Success often requires consistent effort over time. The lack of discipline, such as procrastinating, not adhering to schedules, or easily giving into distractions, can impede your progress. And I'll give you an example. Let's say a student who consistently skips study sessions may struggle to achieve academic success. Number 5, negative self-talk. We all have that voice in our starter head that tells us, you can't do it, you're gonna fail, why do you bother? We all have that little voice inside of us that tells us over and over again, that makes us want to quit and give up. But it's up to you to fight that voice and overcome it. Because that little voice inside your head always leads to self-doubt and a lack of confidence. And if you can never overcome that little voice inside your head, you can never be successful. Because that voice will just get louder, louder, and louder. And I'll give you an example. Someone telling themselves, I'm not smart enough to pursue this career, which usually discourages them from taking necessary steps towards success. You're already losing the war before the battle even started. Number 6, limited networking. Usually when it comes to success, and I've said this before, your net worth is your network. Success is often facilitated by building connections and relationships with other people. A person who avoids networking events or just fails to maintain professional relationships ends up missing out on valuable opportunities, such as job referrals or collaborations that could enhance their success. So you have to go out there, talk to people, build networks, form relationships, and that will help you grow. It's hard being a lone wolf and doing everything by yourself. Sometimes it helps to have other people. And you won't always be the smartest person in the room. So it's always good to gain knowledge from others as well. Number 7, resistance to change. Usually, success often involves adapting to new circumstances and embracing change, whether you like it or not. Those resistance to change may find it difficult to learn new skills or adjust to evolving environments. And I'll give you an example. Let's say an employee who resists using new technologies in the workplace usually hinders their professional development. Everything changes. If you don't keep up with the changes, with the evolutions, you will fall behind. While somebody else is learning and keeping up to date with what's going on, they will surpass you and be more successful than you. Because they're not afraid to change. Whether they like it or not, they will evolve with change. Same thing with AI, what's going on. Another example. Some people are scared of AI and will lose their job to it. Others will use AI to help their job or to help their business. The choice is yours. Number 8, a lack of continuous learning. Learning, I can't say how important it is. Success is always linked to ongoing personal and professional development. Failing to acquire new skills or just stay updated with industry trends results in stagnation. I'll give you an example. A professional who neglects to learn about emerging technologies may become obsolete in a rapidly evolving industry. This one goes pretty similar to the resistance to change. You gotta keep up and learn what's going on every single day, because things are changing every single day. The world's changing every single day. Whether I like it or not, I have to keep up to date what's going on with finances, with the world, the economy, all stuff like that. I have to keep up because it's always changing. It's not going to stay the same forever. It always evolves and always changes. You have to keep acquiring that knowledge to stay up to date with it. And the average person doesn't do any of that. They don't continue to learn. And those are the people that are financially poor and are stuck in the rat race that hate their lives because they don't learn, they don't do anything about it. Number 9, poor time management. You need to prioritize tasks and you need to manage your time effectively. And that can lead to missed opportunities. And that's why I always talk about how important and how a lot of successful people have routines and schedules because they don't waste time. Someone who frequently procrastinates or fails to prioritize critical tasks usually finds it challenging to meet deadlines and achieve success in their profession. Number 10, overlooking health and well-being. I always say, health is wealth. You have all the money in the world, and if you're not healthy, what's the point? You won't be able to spend that money. If you neglect your physical and mental well-being, that's going to impact your overall performance. I'll give you an example. Someone consistently working long hours without proper breaks or self-care may either experience burnout, which will affect their ability to sustain success in the long run. There's a reason why I say, be the best version of yourself, physically, mentally, and financially, because they all go together. Each one of those need each other to benefit off of. And if one of those is lacking, it's going to affect the others, and overall, it's going to affect you as a whole. That's why you have to take care of yourself physically and mentally. And obviously, those two will lead to your financial success. Number 11, lack of resilience. Resilience involves bouncing back from setbacks and learning from challenges. Someone who is easily discouraged by failures without extracting lessons or adapting their approach may struggle to persevere on the path to their success. You're going to fail, but you have to learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures, and move on. If you keep doing the same thing over and over and keep failing and not changing anything else, that's the definition of insanity. That's why I made the podcast, Fail, Fail, and Fail Again, but never quit. The most successful people failed many times, but they learned from their mistakes and end up becoming successful from their failures. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to get it right the first time. Number 12, poor financial management, which is a majority of people who don't know how to handle money. Financial mismanagement can create stress and limit your opportunities. For example, an individual who spends beyond their means and accumulates debt may face financial obstacles that hinder their ability to invest in education or pursue entrepreneurial ventures. The basic fundamentals of money. Poor people, they buy liabilities. Rich people, they buy assets. They buy assets that make them more money. The way you manage your money will determine if you'll be rich or you will be poor. Number 13, unrealistic expectations. Setting overly ambitious or unrealistic goals can lead to people's frustration and their disappointments. Majority of people nowadays expect rapid success without acknowledging the time and its effort required. Usually becomes discouraged and end up abandoning their pursuits prematurely. People nowadays want things now. They want success now. They want money now. They want fame. They want it all now. Doesn't work like that. Takes a lot of hard work, takes discipline, and it takes consistency. But no one wants to do that because it's too hard. They don't want to put in the work, and it's too time consuming. But unfortunately, that's how it works. Whether people like it or not, that's how it goes. So if you're starting something, it's not going to happen fast. Your success, money, it's going to take time. It's going to take consistency. So keep working, put in the work, and eventually you will see the outcome. and you will see the success at the end. Because there's always a light at the end of every tunnel. Number 14, external comparisons. People consistently compare themselves to others. For instance, a professional who consistently measures their success against colleagues without considering their unique strengths and circumstances. They may experience unnecessary stress and hinder their own personal growth. And you see that a lot. People that are starting off, they see the successful person with big old mansions, nice cars, they can buy whatever they want. And they want it now. Well, people don't realize how long it took them, the hours they spent, the stress, frustration, the blood, sweat, and tears they put into it. I always say, you never see the hard work and the tough times they have to go through. You only see the outcome, what you see in public. You only see their success. You never see anything else. But people see their outcome, and they want that, and they compare where they're at to that person, which is unfair to yourself and to that person, because that person put countless hours into their crafts, and you're barely starting. That's why when people usually start business, they get discouraged because they don't see the success instantly. They don't have all that money. They're not able to afford to buy nice cars, buy the mansions, whatever they want, nice clothes. They can't afford it. But it takes years. It takes 5, 10, 20, possibly 30 years to get to that point. A famous quote you probably heard before. Rome wasn't built in a day. Same thing like the Great Wall of China. Anything great takes time to build. But once you build it, then you will receive all the rewards like the other person has that you're comparing yourself to. And this goes for when people compare themselves to athletes, when they compare themselves to the greatest players in the world. The Kobe Bryants, the Michael Jordans, the Tiger Woods, the Tom Bradys. People want to be like them, and they compare themselves to them. Once again, you don't see the countless hours they put into the craft, the studying, their work ethic. You don't see any of that. You just see the outcome. So never compare yourself when you're just starting to someone that's already succeeded in life. Number 15, lack of initiative. Most people wait passively for opportunities rather than actively seeking them that can lead them to their success. Most individuals who do not take the initiative to network, explore new projects, or seek career advancements end up finding themselves stagnant in their current positions. No one's going to come to your door and help you to become successful. No one's going to come to your door and give you $1 million. No one's going to come to your door and give you the keys to that car you always wanted, or give you the keys to that house or mansion you always wanted. That's not reality. That's not how the world works. People will not give you things. People will not seek you unless you put in the work. But most people expect and think they deserve success and think they deserve for people to come to them. That's not how it works. Successful people go out and get what they want, and they end up getting what they deserve. But most people don't want to do that. Because once again, it's too hard, it's too much work, it's too time consuming. But that's the problem. This world gives you what you deserve, not what you want. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to do the work for you. Whether you want to be successful or not, if you want to be the best version of yourself or not, that's up to you. If you want to be lazy and do nothing with your life, be like everybody else, have a job, be miserable, be in the rat race for the rest of your life, and retire at an old age, and then get your freedom back, then by all means. But obviously, I know if you listen to this podcast, you're not going to do that. Because I know these 15 reasons that people are not going to be successful because they do this, you're going to do the opposite. And I guarantee it, if you do the opposite of these 15 reasons and do the opposite of everyone else, you will be successful. You will be in a better off place than you are today. Guarantee it. Be better than everybody else and be greater than everybody else. Got one life. How you choose to live it, up to you. That's going to be it for this podcast. As always, I appreciate you taking time out of your valuable day to listen to these podcast episodes. And thank you, as always, Patron member Blade262 for supporting the podcast and being a Patron member. As always, if you want to be a Patron member, the link will always be in the description below. Please share, subscribe, like if you enjoy these podcast episodes and think they are very valuable. So I appreciate you guys as always. I wish you the best and do the opposite of this list of 15 reasons why people will never be successful. Thank you again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Change Your Mindset podcast. Be sure to tune in every week for a new episode. As always, change your mindset to change your life.